This is the Dr. Paul Show, a woman's personal guide to understanding men. And now, here's Dr. Paul.
Hi, this is Dr. Paul. Welcome to the Dr. Paul Show, and we have an announcement for you tonight. We are going to take a sabbatical. It will go through the fall or perhaps until the first of the year 2013, assuming, of course, that we all survive December 21st, 2012, which I believe we probably will. However, I would suggest on that day, you probably want to really have some R&R, preferably in the bedroom. That would be, well, whatever you want R&R to be. Seriously, I am not going to be broadcasting on this station or on TAN1340.com at any further than tonight. I will be on YouTube. I will be on YouTube at any time. You can also pick up everything on IRNbroadcast.com. But for the foreseeable future, we will not be here. I am taking a sabbatical. If anything changes on that, we will inform you on my website at AskDrPaul.com. Or you may certainly go to the IRNbroadcast.com, and that's where you will find all, and I do mean all, of the broadcasts that Dr. Paul has done. MP3 files, you're all set. Okay, so that's the announcement. Now, Bill, what is the other announcement that you want to make regarding tweeting?
Everybody should tweet Oprah. Everybody should get on Oprah's Twitter.
And tell them you want to see Dr. Paul on the OWN, Oprah Winfrey Network. Do you know that right now, and Bill, this is a fact, they in their prime time are getting only 300,000 plus viewers, where Bravo is getting over 900,000. And how do you increase those ratings, Oprah? You put Dr. Paul on. Trust me, I've had over 1 million hits on the internet. So what's so bad about that?
You know what I'm
getting? Believe me, it works.
You know what I'm getting?
What's that?
Mosquito bites.
Somehow, I think you may deserve them, but that's another story. Moving right along. Seriously, that's the point. Go to Twitter, go to OWN, Oprah Winfrey, and tell her Dr. Paul can make it happen. Get it all. Get Dr. Paul. For a good time, call Dr. Paul. How's that? You like that, Bill? Does that work?
And where did you first see that sign at?
From you, Bill.
Okay.
Credit where credit is due, right? Now I have a very unique, well, maybe not so unique, but I'm going to talk about something. I got a letter, an email, of course. This email caused me to purchase a book and to read the book. Oh, yes, I read many books, but this one I hadn't planned on reading, even though it's on the #1 listing of the New York Times bestseller list. And it is called 50 Shades of Grey. Grey being the last name of a man named Christian Grey. Yes. Now, why did I do that? Because I've gotten the following lovely email from a group of women. Bill, you're going to love this. By the way, we have a new intern here tonight.
Yeah, what's his name?
His name is Frank. You're talking about Frank?
You sure?
Frank Shiro is our new intern tonight.
Where's he from?
Introducing him. He's from the Tampa Bay area. Frank Shiro, our new intern.
I think, is his last name Aladdin?
No, Shiro.
Shiro?
Right.
Oh, like Shapiro.
Close enough.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Frank is our new intern. Great guy. I think you're going to like him. He's going to do the various production work that we do on YouTube, etc., plus more. Stay tuned. Well, I guess stay tuned to YouTube and IRN Broadcast. Well, this is the email I received. Again, 50 Shades of Grey is the book, and the last name of the CEO of this spectacular company is named Grey. His first name is Christian. I wonder why he called him Christian, but that's another story. Dear Dr. Paul, now this is the email that promoted me to buy the book and read it. We want your opinion. Some of our sorority sisters are at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island for a break from our families. Now, if you're not familiar with the Grand Hotel at Mackinac Island in Michigan, it's on an island, and it is really, really classy. and you have no use for automobiles there because they don't allow automobiles. Everything is by bicycle and horse carriage, etc. That's how it works, okay? At least that's the way it was the last time I was there. It's a very exclusive place. Now we're going to continue. Now she is there with a break, on a break from her family with her sorority sisters. And she says that's before it's back to UM. So she goes to the University of Michigan. We want to know how you feel about 50 Shades of Grey, which is the book. We like the sex scenes, but it seems to be dated. Okay, you like the sex scenes. That's what it's all about, isn't it, ladies? That's why it's on the bestseller list. All right. It's S&M, sadism, masochism. Moving right along, she says, it's erotic, but does sound like something we've heard or saw before. Well, now let me guess. Could that be in a porn flick? Probably. Probably a porn XXX movie that certainly seems the same as what you're reading. But let's not go there yet. It seems like you know what's going to happen next. Yes, it does. And why do you think bondage and discipline are so popular now, like in the movie A Dangerous Method? That is an excellent question, and that's what prompted me to go through this. S&M is certainly something that's come into its own right now, but I believe there's a reason. Yes, Bill?
I was just holding up two fingers. But S&M meaning...
Sadism, masochism. Sadist, masochist. Oftentimes there's a... Do you ever hear the joke about the sadist and the masochist?
I thought S&M was like S and... I didn't think it was sadist masochist. Is that what that is?
Yes.
So when you see an ad that says S&M, if you end up over at their house, they're like going to tie you up or crucify you or something like that?
Well, hopefully. Did you hear about the sadist and the masochist? The masochist said, hurt me, and the sadist said, no.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay. That means, oh, well, never mind. So, A Dangerous Method was the movie about Dr. Freud and his erotic adventures with a woman who wanted to be spanked and spanked hard, and it was in the movie. It was very good. Well done. However, there was a reason for it, and there's a reason for it now. I tell people, okay, my doctorate is in behavioral psychology. When you tell a child, a father spanks his daughter and says, I'm only doing this because I love you, and then he spanks her. Well, he does it again. I'm only doing this because I love you, and then he spanks her. And the 8th time and the 20th time, pretty soon, we have developed here a behavioral pattern, right? We have a girl who thinks, wow, if this man spanks me, he must love me. And what happens when she finds somebody that she's really interested in? Well, he must love me because he spanks me, right? And if he doesn't love me, he won't spank me. Yes, Bill?
Problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover.
Call Dr. Tough Love now.
She said it's really not my habit to intrude.
1-866-826-1340 or 727-441-3000. Dr. Tough Love, Dr. Paul returns in just one moment.
50 ways to leave your lover.
And now, back to the Dr. Paul Show.
We're back with Dr. Paul. I'm Dr. Paul, and we are in the throes of ecstasy, reviewing this book that the girls from the sorority happen to want my opinion on. And why would Dr. Tough Love give you an opinion on this book? Because he likes to. That's right. It's that dark side that Dr. Paul has, and we all have them, and that's why you're interested, because you ladies have a dark side as well. So we shall continue. What is my opinion? Well, let me start with the beginning. In the first place, the writing was about what I would expect from a senior advanced class of high school, okay? The point is that it's really written probably within that framework so people can understand it. The people who are in that genre, it's predictable. And by predictable, I mean it's totally predictable. It is a romance novel. You got that, guys? Obviously, it's going to be made into a movie, and it's going to be spectacular, kind of like 9.5 Weeks. And if you really, really read some parts of it, it brings to mind 9.5 Weeks. I'm sure you've all seen that. If you hadn't, it's a classic. Go see it. Now, it's predictable. Why do I say that? Chapter 2. She works in a hardware. Now, here's the CEO of a major international company, highly successful, a billionaire, that she has to go interview because her friend is unable to do so, and she is awestruck and love-struck. Wow. Isn't that the script for most romance novels? I have read romance novels. Why? Because I have to know these things. It's purely research, you understand. However, when you get to the point of chapter 2 where she is working at a hardware. Now, here's a guy who's a billionaire, and he's going to go to a hardware store. Now, let me understand this. Rather than have someone do that kind of work for him, which would be typical, he goes to the hardware store and he will buy natural rope, oh my, and duct tape, oh my, and he will buy long plastic bands where you kind of, use them as handcuffs for people. Now, let me see. What could he possibly want with that? Is that a little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps? Could this man be into bondage? Wow. Chapter 2, I think you are right. And she shudders when she puts these things into his little bag and says, "Don't you need some coveralls?" And he looks and he says, "Of course I need coveralls." And he gets coveralls, not to get the blood spattered all over him, but it's not blood, but that's another story. Anyway, yes, it's predictable. And yes, it's a romance novel. And guys, you're not going to like it until you get to the sadist, masochist, bondage type area. Now, what she meant when she said that it sounds like something we heard before, and it seems that it's dated. I wonder if what I'm going to read tells us what it's about. It says, then moves in swift blows. He's flagellating her with a little whip, I guess. My pubic hair, and that went out with the 60s. So that's what I'm saying. It's outdated in that regard. So there's some flaws as I see it. Not that the book itself is anything but erotic and exciting in that regard. And the heroine, if we can say heroine, says, "I entered a very dark and carnal place." Well, yeah, I would think so. As I said, we all have a dark side. And it's very, very specific in terms of what he does. It's very overwhelming, and it takes a while to get to it. It's really amazing because when you find that 2 and 3 on the bestseller list happens to be, I think this comes in a trilogy, the other 2 books, then I haven't read those, but how can you go beyond where you are? I don't know. And I'm not going to say because I have no idea. However, any book that has, I think I'll write a book this on my sabbatical, okay? That's what I'll do. And I'm going to include a dark and carnal place. That's like, if you read Peanuts, and Snoopy is always writing a book, and he's saying, "It was a dark and stormy night. It was a dark and carnal place." That's all I could think of when I read that. Oh my, yes, it's a dark and carnal place. Kind of like Snoopy's, "It's a dark and stormy night." That's what happened. A very dark and carnal place, and that's what I thought of. Okay, enough for Snoopy and Peanuts. Why should I bring them into this? Because it works, that's right. One more thing. I did not answer the question. it seems that you know what's going to happen next. Yes, you do. It's what we call the type of book that kind of signals what we're going to expect. Okay, it's something that we look at and we say, here's another part. It's totally predictable. That's all right. It's fine. It's entertaining, and it does what it's supposed to do. And I'm sure that I'm going to have a lot of flack about this, but someone asks my opinion, I'm giving my opinion. I have the right to do that, and you can tell me I'm wrong. That's your right. You have a right to your opinion regardless of how wrong you may be. Now, the question that I find, why do you think bondage and discipline are so popular now, like in the movie A Dangerous Method? Therein lies the question. Why are these things popular? Because I think that many people are involved with sex as an act, and it has become mundane. It has not become exciting. It hasn't hit the depth of that passion, that carnal, dark place that she's talking about. That's what they want. Porn, movies, etc., are topical. They don't get into that in-depth, where my soul is darkest place. That's what people are missing. We have it all. And if you see students in college, they've been pampered all their lives, and they have it all, and sex is an act. It's not that place that's on the edge. Many people look and listen and read about that edge, but they don't really get there. They are fascinated when somebody specifically tells them what that edge is all about, when they take them to the dark side of their souls. Wow. What do they want? They want somebody to take them there. Take me to that dark side that I want to involve myself with. But too often it's topical. What are we doing? Are we communicating with people? No, we're messaging them. We're putting them on the Facebook. We don't communicate. And what is sex? Sex is the ultimate communication. The deepest part of our souls. All right? And truly, some people are more, we use the term kinky than others, but they're still there to some degree. Some people never experience it, and sometimes when they do experience that, they are overwhelmed. They are fascinated. Wow, where has this been? Where has a man like this been before? Where has a woman like this been before? Oh my God, this is erotic. I never thought I'd be this way. It sends shivers up my back. I'm at a level of ecstasy I can't believe. Oh yeah, that's right. And that is why. Now, going back to my original thing, a woman says, well, this man spanks me, therefore he loves me, because Daddy said all the time, I only spank you because I love you. And Mommy said the same thing. Little boy says, wow, this woman spanks me, she must love me, because in my subconscious mind, my mommy said, I only spank you, son, because I love you, for the umpteenth time. And the kid says, yeah, Mom loves me, she spanks me. I know that sounds off the wall. And people don't get spanked now, but they do get guilt trips put on them. Mothers do that so well. You know that. We all know that. That's one of the techniques. At one point in time, though, people were spanked. And so it carries over. Or maybe it's because people aren't spanked and desire that. They want some sort of discipline. And that's what a book like this provides. It provides that discipline. Even though it may not happen to them, they are living it. These people who are reading this are living it vicariously through this heroine who is experiencing it. And they are living it with every moment of passion they possibly can. Wow. Isn't that really titillating? I mean, it's really putting you in a position of saying, oh, I like this. Wow, this makes my life complete. I want to read this some more. I want to read the next one. I want to read the next one. And then what? And then what? Well, you answer it. Then they want to experience it. Then they want to be handcuffed and ankle cuffed to the bed. They want to feel that whip dragging across their bodies. They want to feel that sensation. They're already there in their mind's eye. Now they want to experience it for real. That's right. That's what it's all about. So you see, you've asked a question, probably got a bigger answer than you thought. Why do you think bondage and discipline are so popular now, like in the movie A Dangerous Method? A Dangerous Method, mostly a discipline, but we're talking bondage as well, and that's a part of where it is. As far as the scenario with this billionaire picking on this girl and blah, 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 yeah, okay, it's conceivable and probably, happens a lot, but not to that erotic level that we've read here. Very sensuous. Well, now that I have you all turned on, now you're not going to turn off the show. You're going to continue listening to what Dr. Paul has to say, right? Of course you are. But the whole point is this. You are reading a book that millions and millions and millions of people are also reading, and some stores cannot keep it on the shelves. And you simply have to ask yourself, why not? Why is it such a bestseller? I just answered that for you. It's a bestseller because of those reasons. Works for me, and I'm sure it'll work for you. Let's go to the emails. See what else we have. Ah, yes. Speaking of sociopaths, all right. Is your partner a sociopath? We already know we are the best behavioral analysts in the world. The BAU have nothing on us. We know how to blend in. Both of these people are dumb. This is from a person who's a sociopath. So, Dr. Paul, relatively speaking, you all are. The thing about the eyes may be true. I have often been described as having dead eyes, but I am trying to deal with that. I will learn to fake this like I learned to fake everything else. Means learned. 90% of the time, I'm just like you. The other 10, I'm better. I approve of this message. Now, this came from a person who claims to be a sociopath, and from reading this, I believe this person, in fact, is a sociopath. We already know we are the best behavioral analysts in the world. Sociopath is. The BAU have nothing on us. All right, that's the crime scene, I guess, series. We know how to blend in. Both of these people are dumb. Relatively speaking, you all are, except for the sociopath, of course. The thing about the eyes may be true. I have often been described as having dead eyes, but I am trying to deal with that. I will learn to fake this like I learned to fake everything else. 80% of the time, I'm just like you. The other 10, I'm better. Look, we're going to break right now. This is Dr. Paul, and you're on the Dr. Paul Show.
These eyes. Once again, here's Dr. Tough Love, Dr. Paul.
Thank you, Bill. Welcome back to the Dr. Paul Show. This is Dr. Paul, and we have something on BPD, bipolar disorder. Now, this is really good. We're talking about sociopath, and this person writes in on that, but this person actually is suffering from a bipolar disorder. And this person says, this is my disorder. I'm going to tell you this is a female. She is describing me. In other words, when we went through the BPD phase that we did, this, she says, describes her. It's the hooking, quote unquote, not being a hooker, but hooking, getting into somebody's life. It's called hooking. They put the hook in you, okay? It's not like a call girl, hooker type thing. That's not it at all. Okay. It is the hooking stage in a relationship in which a bipolar disorder sufferer is over-attentive. Now, this is how they get you, by being over-attentive. Like, you walk on the water for them. They are totally subservient to you. They're totally supportive of you. You can't do enough. I've seen it, and they're very, very, very effective with this. It doesn't like sharing their partner. Things move very quickly in a short space of time. A lot of guys and women, this happens to be a woman, a lot of guys get involved with someone who has bipolar disorder so rapidly they don't even realize what's happened. In fact, They might even believe that this person is undergoing depression. All right? Things move very quickly in a very short space of time. In the hater phase, the bipolar disorder person will develop more manipulative strategies and will have the Jekyll and Hyde type of mood swings. Yes, they will. In fact, Dr. Jekyll is the good guy, and Mr. Hyde, of course, is the one that's hiding, the bad guy. So when Mr. Hyde will do outrageous things like try to kill people. That's right. I have an ex-boyfriend who is antisocial personality disorder, that's APD, and he was totally different to me in most respects other than manipulation and lying. That's totally different. This woman, apparently, she has a bipolar disorder, and she has a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, who has an antisocial personality disorder. That's different. But she is right on the money. I have seen it. This is my disorder, and she is describing me. The woman says it's the hooking stage in a relationship in which the BPD, that's the bipolar disorder sufferer, is over-attentive and doesn't like sharing their partner. Things move very quickly in a short space of time. They will marry you in 3 to 6 months. That's how fast, and they're good. They're really, really practiced at it. They're highly manipulative. In the hater phase, the BPD person will develop a more manipulative strategy and will have the Jekyll and Hyde type mood swings. Remember that. This ought to serve you well if you remember it. It's critically important. You are very, very vulnerable to be victimized by this type of person. We all are. Believe me, it's doable, and they're excellent at what they do. All right, go to the next one. I need advice from the Love Doctor. Hello, Dr. Paul. Hope you're having a great day. I certainly am. I would like to know, what is the best attitude to have when you like a friend? I mean a good friend. We've been friends for a while now, but he was in a relationship a couple of months ago. Now he's single, but he had his heart broken. What I mean is that he still loves her and can't get over her. A friend told me that the attitude to have is to try to get closer to him, even in a friendly way. Some other friends think that I should show him in my attitude, verbal and nonverbal, that I like him, so that he knows when he reaches that and how he reacts to this. What advice would you give me? Number one, you do what's best for you. If you do like him, then show him that. But don't be phony, because what you said is, some of your friends say, well, show him that you like him. No, you show him the truth. You show him who you are and who he is. And ask him questions. And listen when you ask the question. I'm certain that you will, because you're listening to your friends, and there are two sides to this. The time is to listen to them, but more important, listen to yourself. Tell the person you're going to, like Dr. Paul does, I'll tell you the truth whether you like it or not. You are obsessed with this person. What do you want? Ask and then listen. How do you feel? And let him talk. Then ask him, what do you want? What do you want now, in the short term? What do you want in the midterm? What do you want in the long term? You've got to answer these questions. Yes, Bill?
I have a question. What if you ask her, you come out and you talk about sex, you talk about it in a funny way, you talk about it in, like a one-track mind way, but she doesn't get mad, but she just says, I'm not, though the way you say it, that it has not offended her anyway, but she just don't want to have anything. When do you know when it's at ice, when you're going to break that icebreaker and cut right on through?
The best thing I can tell you is to do it in a humorous way. If you get them to laugh, they'll be more comfortable. That's how it works.
That's how it works?
Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it.
Oh, okay.
All right. I ought to charge you for that one, Bill. Okay. That was certainly a professional statement. All right. Anyway, I want you to know that you're being honest with him, and telling him that you're going to tell him the truth, whether he likes it or not, will make him feel more secure. This lady's not going to lie to me. She's going to tell me the truth. And I may not like it, but at least I know she has my best interests at heart. So that's how I would approach this. But don't try to be something you're not. Don't give him the impression, verbal or nonverbal, that you like him, when in fact you like him as a friend, but you don't like him romantically, because he's going to suddenly look for somebody to be that person who is going to bridge that gap for him. He may himself hurt someone by reaching out, grasping for straws, and then later deciding, well, that's not really what I want, and the person that he has reached out to is going to get hurt. So be careful with this one, okay? All right, very good. Here's another one on the sociopath. We got a lot of those. A lot of viewers on that.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people that are, and some people say that they shouldn't be taking those drugs that a psychiatrist doctor wants them to have.
Well, are they doctors that tell them that?
The psychiatrist doctors are, yeah.
But no, you're selling that people tell them that they ought not be taking the...
No, you have like a show. You have another show on Tan Talk that talks about that we shouldn't give people, you know, the Xanax or the Roxy or whatever to make them feel better. They should there's other means of feeling better.
Well, they are there for a reason. And the reason they are there is because apparently they worked, and they found that they work through lab studies. Now, you cannot give people medications that they need, and they wind up maybe hurting themselves or others. And that's what we want to avoid. God knows we've had too much of that already. We're going to a break right now. You're on the Dr. Paul Show. This is Dr. Paul.
Welcome back to Dr. Tough Love, the Dr. Paul Show. Get to your phone right now, 1-866-826-1340 or 727-441-3000. Here's your dancing machine, Dr. Paul.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Paul. You're on the Dr. Paul Show. Is that Michael Jackson?
Yes, it is.
3 years ago today that he died?
Yes. Can I add something when you were
Absolutely.
Add something when you were out here?
Yes.
You know, you said do something funny, right?
Yes.
Well, then that person says, we can't do anything funny. We're just friends. Then you know what she says after that?
No.
I want to go to the beach tomorrow.
Okay, that door is just opened.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
Good. Well, more power to you. All right, moving right along. I need advice. Here's one. I have been involved with a guy for 2 years and 7 months. He has yet to tell me that he loves me. We are not involved with anyone else. Is this a bad sign? No, it's not a bad sign, but it brings to mind an email that I received when a woman told me a similar story and finally discovered that he and she were both in love with the same man. She loved him and he loved himself, and that's exactly what this sounds like. He's so into himself that he doesn't have time to love you. He may be highly narcissistic and frankly hasn't even thought about telling you, I love you. He just assumes, and you know what ASSUME means, it makes an ass of you and me, that you know he loves you. So my advice to you is simply confront him if you don't like it and say, you know, the trouble with you and me is we are both in love with the same man. Maybe he'll get it, and maybe he won't. But if he's been with you 2 years and 7 months, and I know this is irritating you because I was expecting you to say 2 years, 7 months, 3 days, and 22 minutes. You're very specific with 2 years and 7 months. You'll have to ask him, you know, do you in fact love me? And you probably have communicated to him that you in fact do. So my point is, I think you're both in love with the same man. He may be highly narcissistic. Here's another one on schizophrenia. Top comments of schizophrenia almost made me not watch, but I looked anyway. Great show. Thank you. We learn a lot here, don't we? I certainly do. I had that lady on, and she really knew what she was talking about. And I've gone through the research on sociopathic individuals, but she certainly brought it on to a home base, a personalized level. Here's one. I like this. My husband had all these traits, sociopath. For the longest time, I never knew what I was doing wrong, why I couldn't keep him happy. But everything you said about this type of person, you were describing my husband going on 20 years now, and you have my sympathies because that's a tough one to live with. If you're able to make that happen, you know, there's a special place in heaven for you, I'm sure. That takes a real tough person to do that. It's a challenge, and it's remarkable that you've maintained that for 20 years. Probably have children and want to maintain that marriage. I understand that perfectly. Moving right along, getting along with these. Got hundreds and hundreds backed up. But we're never going to get to all of them. I'll try to get some of them on IRN broadcast. I have a comment. Hi, Dr. Paul. Thank you for showing me the way. Yet I decided to move on. I suddenly found out that he deleted me from the friend list online. Oh, please. Please. All right. Remember, the people who are your friends online are not your friends unless they'll send you $10. If you have 500 friends out there, tell each one of them to send you $10. The ones that do, they're your friends. The rest delete. All right. Even I sent him a message, he did not reply. Yet the friend who told me before suddenly texted me saying that the girl he likes does not feel comfortable when I talk or send to him since I have feelings for him. She also said that he does not have feelings for me. That's odd that a guy would say that. He tells another person he doesn't have feelings for you. I find that hard to believe. Let me finish this and we'll get right to it. Actually, I was just confused with my feelings in the beginning. I wanted to be friends first, but he was weird, and I had a feeling that he's interested. Overall, I'm good and moving on. Congratulations. I remember who you are. I see your name here, which of course we won't mention, but you've done the right thing. Good for you. Bill, you got a comment?
They're just friends.
Well, not anymore. She moved on.
Oh, she moved on.
She moved on, and wisely so.
Because he was too weird?
Well, she just mentioned that thank you for showing me the way, Dr. Paul. You know, you can't beat a dead horse. It's not going anyplace.
You should not should on yourself.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly what she said. Excellent. Good. Like that one. Thank you again for responding. I need advice. Hello, Dr. Paul. I'm dating a guy who is 33 and I'm 23. We kind of like each other. He says, let's see each other and talk. If we like each other, we will get serious and get married. Now, how can I impress him? Apparently, you already have impressed him. You apparently have impressed him. He's going with you. And you know something? The time difference means nothing. This is just a number. Don't even think about it. If you like it, go for it. Oh, people put themselves in these cages. I don't understand it. If the guy's 83 and you're 23, what the hell's the difference? Look at Hugh Hefner. Okay, if you like it, go for it. Don't even think about it. You know, I like the fact that you're saying, how can I impress him? Because you want to show how you feel for him. And that's good. And how to impress him is to be yourself. That's who he fell in love with, the person you are. Not the person that you're going to try to be to make him more impressed. You are who you are. And that's what he liked. Oftentimes people ask me, Dr. Paul, what can I do to change to make somebody like me? They like you the way you are. You don't have to change a thing. Don't change a thing for me. What's that? My Funny Valentine, right? That's it.
I don't know your song repertoire. I don't know about that one.
My Funny Valentine, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, Frank Sinatra,
right,
My Funny Valentine.
Right, yeah. Don't change a thing for me. Okay, that's it. That's part of it. So don't change a thing. This guy likes you because he likes you. And too often people say, "What can I do to change?" Don't change a thing. Good. I like that one. We're going through these as fast as we can, but we're trying to give everybody the information they need. Okay, I need advice. Hi, Dr. Paul. I really need your help. I am in a serious relationship. It's my first real relationship. Good for you. I am 28 years old. I have been having anxiety attacks. Oh, my. My stomach is hurting most of the time. I don't know which way to go with my boyfriend. I love him. I feel very attached to him, but I also feel lonely even with him. Okay, there's a reason for that. I am afraid of his temper and feel that he is negative many times. I feel that he sees me as a baby maker. So he's treating you as an object, not as a person. I hear that. And sometimes is sarcastic and says things that mock me and hurt my self-esteem. I'm afraid to be alone, move out on my own. Bottom line is I love him, I am attached to him, but I don't feel comfortable with him. We are very different. Our conversations feel empty. That's sad. And I don't even have enough experience to understand men and what they talk about. I hope this is all makes sense. Please let me know your input. Thank you. Sincerely yours. And we'll blank out the name, of course. Look, I want to tell you something. I want you to, if there's any possible way, to remove yourself from that person. It doesn't sound good. You're being treated as an object, not as a person. And it's going to continue and get worse. Once you have a child, it's definitely going to be worse. Please believe me on that. The best way, if you're 20 years old, okay, your first real relationship, you might want to start looking to men who are more mature. Men who have had some experience, because you haven't had. And what you're working with here is probably somebody at your age or younger, and it isn't working because this person doesn't understand you. You're obviously a sensitive woman who has a feeling. You love this person. I can feel that frustration. You're saying, my stomach is hurting, I'm having anxiety attacks. Drop him like a bad habit. You want to do that, that's why you've written to Dr. Paul, and I'll tell you the truth whether you like it or not. You've got to go elsewhere. And I would recommend highly that you meet a man who's more mature. That's really going to help you a lot. Somebody that's had some experiences. Okay, not a married guy who can't go anyplace, but somebody who is not married, maybe divorced, maybe 40, maybe somebody that's 45, 50, but somebody who respects you and appreciates you for what you are. Those anxiety attacks and that stomach trouble is going to go away. And that's what you need to do. All right? Do it. Do it for yourself. And do it for him, because you'll be doing him a favor too. He doesn't need what you offer. He needs somebody more like himself. Sounds like he richly deserves it. Ooh. Dr. Paul, you can be so mean. What is this? Oh, no. All right. Another one. I need advice. Dr. Paul, I asked a girl out through Facebook message asking for a coffee, and she did not reply back to me. She knows that I am shy. Next day when I met her, she was behaving as if nothing happened, and she greeted me the same way. What does it mean, and what do I do? You ask her if she got that message. What if she did not get it? Just because you sent the message doesn't mean that she got it. There may be some sort of electronic interruptus. Who knows? Are we at the end of this show, Bill? Oh, my. This is Dr. Paul. And I want you to know, as always, in the future and forever, may your fantasies of today be your realities of tomorrow.